Ever had a crazy idea but thought, nah, I don't have the resources? Well, what if I told you that some of the biggest companies in the world worth billions today started in nothing more than a garage? Yep, no fancy offices, no massive teams, just big dreams. So let's dive into the 5 most legendary brands that started in nothing but a garage. It's 1976, and 21-year-old Steve Jobs and his buddy Steve Wozniak are sitting in a small garage in Los Altos, California. They don't have money, they don't have a big team. What they do have? A crazy idea to build a personal computer that people could actually own. With nothing but a handmade wooden case, some circuit boards, and a dream, they built the first ever Apple computer right there in that garage. But today, Apple is worth over $3 trillion. Not bad for a company that literally started on a wooden workbench. And speaking of garage startups that changed the world, let's talk about a guy who started selling books and accidentally built an empire. In 1994, Jeff Bezos is sitting in his garage, staring at his computer. He has this idea, an online bookstore where people could buy books without leaving home. Crazy, right? But at the time, the internet was still pretty new and most people thought, why would anyone buy books online? But Jeff Bezos was definitely onto something. He set up a tiny makeshift office in his garage, packed books by hand, and personally shipped every order. Unlike 1994, Amazon sells everything from books to rockets. And that tiny garage startup, it's now worth over $1.5 trillion. But trust me, Bezos wasn't the only one with a game-changing garage idea. Because just 4 years later, 2 college students built something in a garage that completely changed how we use the internet. Let's Google this in your mind. A small garage in Menlo Park, California. 2 Stanford students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, were working on a project that would help organize the massive amounts of information on the internet. They called it Backrub. Yeah, that was the original name. But soon, they changed it to something much simpler, Google. That garage, it belonged to Susan Wojcicki, who later became the CEO of YouTube. And fun fact, she rented the space to Larry and Sergey for just $1,700 a month. Today, Google is the most visited website on earth, and it all started in a tiny rented garage. But this next garage startup, it wasn't just about computers or tech, it was about magic. Imagine a young Walt Disney sketching characters in his uncle's garage with just $200 to his name. It's 1923 and all he has is a small desk, some paper, and a dream to make cartoons. His first creation? The Alice comedies, a mix of live action and animation. And that little garage, it became the birthplace of what would soon become Disney Studios. Disney is worth over $200 billion in 2025. It owns Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, and pretty much our entire childhood. All because Walt didn't wait for the perfect setup, he just started. And speaking of legendary companies, this next one wasn't just about computers or entertainment. It was about pure American horsepower. A small wooden shed. A young William Harley and Arthur Davidson are messing around with a bicycle engine. They don't have high-tech tools, no investors, no factory. Just a tiny workbench and a dream to build the fastest, toughest motorcycles ever. Their first bike, it barely worked, but they kept improving, and by 1909 they launched the very first V-twin engine. And soon, Harley-Davidson became the name in motorcycles. Today, it's an American icon that started in a backyard shed. So what is the lesson here? If you have a big idea, it doesn't matter where you start. A tiny garage, a messy basement, or a rented room, or even your own room. Because the truth is, success isn't about resources. It's about taking action with whatever you have. So what is stopping you? Drop your dream project in the comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe because who knows, your idea could be the next billion-dollar business posted on our channel.